Snap announced the launch of several new partnerships for its augmented reality and map features. That's in order to increase user engagement. It's just the latest move in social media in order to grow ad revenues. The shares are still down about 5% today. But Julia Borson is with the co-founder and CEO of Snap, Evan Spiegel, who joins us for an exclusive interview. Julia?
Kelly, thanks so much. And Evan, thanks so much for joining us today, right on the heels of your big presentation of all those partnerships.
Hi, Julia. Thanks so much for having me. We're just so excited about all the products we've announced, and we're so grateful to have this opportunity to celebrate all of our partners that deliver so much value to the Snapchat community. It's been so much fun collaborating and working together with so many talented teams really across the world.
So you've really announced a range of partnerships with brands, media companies, with other apps. Some people say it looks like you're trying to transform into more of a platform like a WeChat, a super app. What is or super platform, a super app? What is your vision for how you're transforming Snap and how that'll help you better compete with Facebook and Instagram?
Well, really what we're trying to do is just better serve our community. You know, our content business really grew out of this desire that our community had to learn more about the world. And so we were able to partner with so many talented publishers and now so many more creators and people who are developing shows to serve our community that way. When we started building our map, you know, people wanted to feel like the map was personal. So many maps historically have been used just to get from A to B. And Snap's map reflects who you are and where your friends are and what they're doing. And now we're bringing local businesses into the map because our community cares so much about their local businesses. And we felt like that was a really important way to create value. So, you know, as we look to things like minis, which are a really exciting new extension of our platform, we really believe that Snapchat provides this unique opportunity to help friends connect with one another and do activities together that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to do on their phone. So just the idea of being able to, you know, book tickets to the movies together with your friends, watch trailers, pick your seats, that's a really fun collaborative activity that we believe Snapchatters will really enjoy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, we follow Snapchatters' lead, our community's lead in terms of what they want, and we're just doing our best to serve them.
And just to go back to your comment about the potential for small businesses who you're really bringing onto your Maps platform, what is the potential there in terms of advertising and specifically going after ad market share that's been dominated from the likes of Yelp and even Facebook, which has talked a lot about its investment in small businesses?
Yeah, we're really just getting started there. So this is predominantly about bringing local businesses onto the map and helping them, you know, advertise their hours or their website, their menu, or even help people order online. So this is really the foundation. You know, as part of it, what we're trying to do is make it really easy for local businesses to advertise. So if you're a local business owner, you can log on to our ads manager, type in the name of your business. We'll autofill that place's profile for you to make it really easy to create a Snap ad. And we're providing a bunch of free ad credits. So local businesses who are working on reopening, getting back up and running after being shut down for such a long period of time, you know, they feel like they have our full support.
Now, Evan, there's been a lot of talk about your decision that you announced that you will not be promoting President Trump's account within your Discover platform. Drew a lot of blowback. His campaign advisor called you radical and said you were trying to rig the election for his opponent, former Vice President Biden. What's your response to that allegation?
I don't think there's been too much blowback. You know, we've always said Discover is a closed platform and we choose the types of content we want to promote on our platform. So we're well within our First Amendment rights to decide what shows up on there. And, you know, in terms of our business and our community, we're very focused on our values and expressing our values through the things that we promote on Snapchat. So I think it was a relatively easy and straightforward decision, and we'll continue to try to create a Discover experience that reflects our values and promotes the types of content that we think are important for our community to see.
Social media has definitely been in President Trump's crosshairs. He has the social media order, which threatens to limit companies' ability to censor or to flag potentially offensive or problematic content. What do you think of that order, and what could it mean for you and for your fellow social media companies?
Well, I think what you're talking about specifically are the proposed changes to Section 230. You know, actually, Section 230 was designed to promote free speech because what it tried to do was allow platforms to take the steps necessary to, you know, create a safe environment, try to remove content that's violent or threatening or otherwise abusive, but generally create a place where speech could be hosted freely and not hold platforms directly accountable for speech that individuals make on that platform. And so I think actually the thrust of Section 230 was to protect and promote people's ability to speak freely on these technology platforms. So I'm not sure, frankly, how these changes that are being proposed would impact Section 230. But I do think it is important to, reiterate the First Amendment. There seems to be some confusion about the First Amendment and who that applies to. And the First Amendment's very specific. It's actually designed to protect individuals and private businesses from the government. So I think the really interesting thing here, and you're seeing lots of businesses and brands exercise their free speech. For example, NASCAR said, hey, we don't want our fans to show up with Confederate flags. That's another example of a private business exercising their right to free speech and on their premises. So I think, Snapchat really, we embrace those rights. We're grateful to have a First Amendment here in this country. And we want to use our First Amendment rights to stand up for the things that we believe in.
Evan, it's Kelly here back in the studio, and kind of touching on that diversity issue. You wrote this memo this week. It's very impassioned about racism and diversity in this country. What should we expect more from Snap on that front? This is obviously something that's very important to you.
Yeah, it's something we've been investing in for a long time, both as a company, but also as a family. And it's an issue we care a lot about. America has a long legacy of racism, really starting even before the founding of the country when slaves were brought here to this country. And so we think that it's really important to acknowledge that history, to apologize for that, and really try to make steps forward here to create a country that lives up to its ideals of freedom, equality, and justice for all. So, some of the things we're doing inside our business in particular, we're very focused on improving representation overall, both in the short term, but also in the form of longer term investments in things like education and other programs to help underrepresented talent in our community. So actually, we have a thing called the Snap Design Academy, where students from all over Los Angeles from different backgrounds come in and work with the Snap Design team. And we've partnered now with the Royal College of Art, which is one of the best art schools in the whole world, to produce this program. And 2 of our graduates, I just found out yesterday, got into an RCA program. And so that's an example where we're really trying to invest over a longer period of time to create more educational opportunities and therefore improve representation overall in the tech and creative industries. Yeah. So I think that's really important. I also think it's important to create an inclusive culture on your team and in the workplace. And we invest a lot in that. We have something called Council, where we encourage people to sit together and share their perspectives and how they feel. And that's something we've had since the very early days when it was just 6 or 8 of us in the little blue house on the beach. So we're really committed to creating an inclusive culture, improving representation. But I think, it's really important for all of us to work together to invest in some of these longer term initiatives that we know, pay tremendous benefits down the road.
Should we expect more from you guys in the disclosure front in terms of the makeup of the corporate workforce, that sort of thing?
It's definitely something that we've talked about. What we want to make sure we do is not normalize that representation. So it probably wouldn't surprise you, Snapchat looks like most other technology companies in terms of representation. We think that's a bad thing, not a good thing. And so we've been worried that all these disclosures have actually normalized the current composition of the tech workforce. And so the work that we're trying to do, we release those numbers internally to motivate our team to make changes and get better. But what we've seen actually is some short-term competition between different technology companies for underrepresented talent rather than a collective effort to invest in some of these longer term initiatives. So what we're really focused on are these long-term initiatives and, of course, improving representation. I've been a little worried that some of these disclosures normalize the current state of the tech industry, but we're actually inventing a new way right now to release that information and also make it clear, about the plans that we have to improve representation at Snap and more broadly in the industry.
Evan, I want to come back to the idea that you're going to no longer promote President Trump's account in Discover, which is something that you apply to others as well. What does that mean in practice, that you will no longer promote his account, number one? Number two, I gather you reached this decision not just based on things that he had or his team had posted on his Discover account, but based on things he has said in other venues or on other social media accounts. Tell me why that then becomes germane to this decision. And then third, were there specific things that led you to this decision? Specific comments.
So when we built Discover a really long time ago, we felt there was actually a really important need to choose the different content providers that we really wanted to work with to provide a great experience for Snapchatters. And they really expect that from us. When they go to Discover, they expect premium content. And that's an area where we've really invested, and we're so grateful to work with so many different publishers and journalists around the world to create that content. And so, from the beginning, we've had a lot of guidelines about the types of content that we want to promote and discover. And in particular, we actually have rules about off-platform behavior that influence our decisions about who we promote. And so, in this particular instance, I think obviously it wasn't just our perspective. I think it was a widely held feeling across America. Former presidents speaking up, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff talking about the comments that the president made, specifically those that incited violence against fellow American citizens. And I think that really upset people across the entire country. And that prompted us to feel like, gosh, is this really the type of behavior we want to promote in our Discover section? So the president still has an account. He's active on Snapchat, but we don't need to promote him on Discover to our audience, because those sorts of statements don't reflect who we are as a business or the types of content we want on our platform.
Again, what were the statements specifically? Was it can you cite one?
Yeah, one of the statements in particular involved threatening to shoot looters, and that was something that troubled us. Another one involved ominous weapons. And I think those sorts of statements, frankly, don't reflect our values or the types of content that we want to promote.
Thank you.
Evan, just shifting back, a final question about some of the augmented reality tools you announced today and that you've been investing in. You opened up your augmented reality kit to developers. Now anyone like Nike or MLB can use your AR tools on their own apps, separate from Snap. What do you see as the opportunity for augmented reality now, especially as more people are staying at home? Do you think it'll be a more useful tool for companies and for advertising, since people aren't out in stores shopping?
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of excitement around augmented reality. Some of it's in-home, but I think some of it will be in stores as well. Stores are rethinking how people trial their products in store. They want to reduce the amount of things that people are picking up and touching to reduce transmissibility of the virus. And I think AR can play a really important role in trial there. One of the things that we announced that's really exciting is called Camera Kit, and Camera Kit allows businesses to bring our full-featured, really powerful augmented reality software directly into their applications. And that's something that we're really excited about. So we think this will empower lots of brands to experiment with this new technology, both on the Snapchat platform, but also in their own services. And I know that at a time right now when people are really being creative and innovative with the way that they're reaching their customers, given how dynamic and challenging the situation is globally, we really want to be there and support these brands and businesses in those explorations so that they can continue to grow their businesses.
Certainly a lot going on at your company. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about all those announcements and so much more. Really appreciate it, Evan Spiegel.